Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to JJ's PC Build. You know who it is right here. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little discussion. Okay, the most important. I understand people say the processors are the most important, but everybody seems to be skipping over the fact of the motherboard. Okay, what is your GPU or your graphics card plug into? What does your processor plug into? What does your random access memory plug into? What does your fans plug into? What does your power supply plug into to support all the power that goes to all your devices, like your CPU, your GPU, your RAM, your hard drives? Where's all this power being distributed? What takes care of the speeds that you need for your processor to operate properly? What controls the operating system that help you do your benchmarking and everything else? What controls that to control your GPU? Okay, to where you get the speeds and the clarity and the color and everything else. This is one part everybody seems to not really talk about. Okay, the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because it's being missed. Everybody's like, it's a price point. It's a price point. Of course it's a price point. But this is the point. We're going to take you today and we're going to take and go on a few websites and we're going to have a look at what's the cheapest one of them all for the motherboard. Now, if you're looking to do a conservative build, okay, we can take you and have you look at some of the motherboards with me. And we're going to go together because this is going to be in real time. This is going to be today on January the 9th, 2023. And my time right now is 1:20 p.m. And by the time you all see this video, it'll probably be approximately 4 or 5 p.m. today. So let's just jump right in it and get all the things going. And we're going to flip the screen. And here we go. So you can see me down here in the bottom corner. I'm down here in the bottom corner for y'all, so I'm not in the way. So we're on Amazon right now. We're doing the Amazon thingy. We're going to go and look at some motherboards. Now, it's not going to just be AMD. It's going to be Intel as well. I'm mixing it up so you all get a general idea of what you're looking for. Okay, if you're looking for DDR4, this is a lot of people don't want to pay for DDR5 right now. I suggest, and believe it or not, prices are going to come down sooner or later on motherboards. Be patient. If you got a decent motherboard, stick with it until a better deal comes along for the next generation. For a DDR5, if you want to save up, now is the time to save up because motherboard prices are going to change sooner or later. And with them not selling many motherboards, once they sell a certain amount, and understand this, once they sell a certain amount of product, okay, people are going to stop buying. The demand is going to slow down. And then the prices are going to drop. So this is what you have to wait for. You have to wait for the demand to slow down. And then boom. Prices will start dropping because they're not selling and they've already made their quota. So now it's just all profit. So sometimes manufacturers, they'll lower their price just to make better sales, to make quicker sales, to get rid of products. So what you do is you wait until you hit the bitter end. And I'm just saying this from me to you, and I'm being honest with you how I buy. This is how I buy. I wait until the bitter end for them prices to just drop. And when prices just drop from, let's say, $500 all the way down to $100, that's when I buy. When I see a 300% mark off of the MSRP price, that's when I'm going to buy. I'm not going to spend $500, $600, $700, $800. I'm doing like the consumer does. Okay, I'm doing like you guys do, the consumers. I'm buying the way you buy. Okay, I'm not buying the way that the top end 1%ers are going to buy. I'm buying the way the little man is, the one that has stretches money out week for week, so that way he gets something better. Okay, just like the high end, it's tough to get high end stuff now these days when you got to mortgage your house to buy computer parts. I'm not mortgaging. I'm not giving my rent away. I'm waiting. I'm waiting patiently because something will break. These companies will come down in price, and guarantee they will. Okay, let's get to it. I see on the chopping block I got an MSI Pro H610M Wi-Fi DDR4 Port Pro series. They marked it from $109.99, $110 to $100. So they knocked off $10 from this board, and you can see it's Intel. See, it's Intel 12th and 13th gen. Now, if you got an Intel 12th gen processor, but you want to upgrade to, let's say, what was it, the 13 or 1400 platform to a 1700 platform, you want to bring your platform up, this would be the best way to do it, because even though, now understand this, even though that they don't have heat sinks on their VRMs, you can always, for $5 or $10, purchase heat sinks to put on your VRMs for these boards. So even if they don't come with it, you can always buy heat sinks for cheap, to put on those VRMs. So just because the board ain't all prettied up and everything else, you can take, and if you own your own metal shop, you can make your own aluminum heat sink to go on there and pretty it up and everything else and be creative. It's like an open canvas to you. Just to let you know that, so you understand, you don't always have to have something covering your VRMs for you to be creative and make your board a one of a kind. And I tell you this because when I get ready to do mine, I'm taking all the VRMs off. I'm going to take a design to a metal shop because I don't have all that, hardware to do that. But I will, when I get ready to do that, I will take you all along with me so you can watch them make me new pieces to go on top of the VRMs. See, if you want to be creative and create your own stuff to put on your own motherboard, you can do that. See, that's the whole positive thing about, when you buy a motherboard. Even if you buy a cheap one, you can make it look like it's a high dollar one. Just a couple bucks there to add to the motherboard. I know you just want to buy all one piece and be done with it. Well, I'd rather, shoot myself in the foot and have all those pieces put together and have a motherboard, if it's $99, and put $20 on it of extra hardware. Just say $20 because I know I could probably get it for like $20. Extra $20. So you figure $120 for a motherboard and make it look like it's top of the line. Performance wise, see, that's another thing. Performance wise, you can always get your performance out of a cheap motherboard. It still has a good VRM. You know, it still has good power delivery and everything that you would need. I mean, it's just a matter of exploring. They got this one right here, $109. They got a Gigabyte B660M. It's a LGA 1700, and you know that's going to support. You know this is going to support, I bet you, the 13th gen processor. Just think about that, because Intel did say that the 12th and 13th gen can be supported on DDR4. Now I'm going to hold their word to it, and if I get a 13th gen Intel processor and put it on a DDR4 motherboard, then I've already saved myself, what, an extra $400 right here. I just saved myself an extra $400. Or if you want to go with an Asus AM4 motherboard, AM4 and AM5 don't mix with AMD. Okay? You cannot use AM5 processors on an AM4 motherboard. Okay, that's one caveat that AMD made sure that's one thing they told everybody they're not going to do. When they switch to a newer platform, it's going to be that the processor has no pins. It's got a totally flat bottom, and all the pins are built onto the motherboard, just like Intel. Okay, they switched up their plan, and when they went from AM4 to AM5, totally different platforms. So don't even think that your AM5 processor is going to work on an AM4 motherboard. It's not. So don't make that mistake. If you're going to do AMD, you either do DDR4 or you do DDR5. This is the reason why I'm sticking with the DDR4 motherboards right now, but on a next video, sometime in the future, which will probably be sooner or later, we're going to explore the DDR5 motherboards. You know, the Intel, you know, upgraded DDR5 and the AM5 DDR5, you know, we're going to explore that. But this is basically like 12th gen Intel or less. This is like AM4 motherboards, you know, for like you can do the Ryzen 9, was it the Ryzen 9 3900 something, you know, stuff like that. Anything that's dealing with the 5000 series, you know, AM4. These are the motherboards we're going to be dealing with. So they got the Asus Prime B550 Plus. Okay, now I got the B450, the M/AII motherboard by Asus. So my next step up is going to be the Asus Prime B550. Now I'm not sure what kind of 550 I would like to do. Everybody's telling me I should go to the X570, you know, or upwards on the AM4 platform side. Yeah, that's true, but the thing is when you're on an exploration and when you're exploring these platforms, you don't want to basically tell everybody, well, I've looked at this platform, I experienced it, and, you know, I know what's going on with it, but never touched the board or never got the product. Okay, my whole purpose is, as we grow this channel going along, okay, I'm going to accumulate stock on different motherboards, different processors, different RAM, and so on. So when I start collecting all these, you know, large amounts of product, then I can use it for my testing purposes. Then I can say that, you know, I had it in my hands and I've tested it and this is what I got. And this is what I want to give my subscribers and the viewers that are watching my videos. So these right here, these videos, I'm telling you about the prices, the motherboard, if it's going to be good, bad, or ugly. Okay? I give you my opinion, and I'm showing you the cheapest prices. You can still get a 5600X to go with any AM4 motherboard. You can get, you know, any 12th gen processor to go with these 12th gen motherboards, and so on. You know, you're not limited. Okay, AM5 right now, understand this, AM5 is a limited platform, both for Intel and AMD. Well, not so much Intel. Intel's kind of flip-flop between AM4 and AM, or not AM, I mean DDR4 and DDR5. So, and don't get this wrong, you cannot use a 12th gen processor on an AM4 motherboard. That won't work, because, or you can't use a 12th gen processor on an AM5 motherboard. You can't cross the two. Even though that would be interesting if that, you know, a 12th gen could work on an AM5 motherboard. That would be interesting enough to be able to cross those two platforms. You know, the processor, crossing the processor over to that motherboard. That would be interesting. But I think the pin structure on the Intel is different from the AMD side. So I think they're two different kind of setups. But it would be good to explore that. And, you know, if I get my hands on, you know, product, I'm definitely in the future going to look into that and see if that is possible. So, but until that happens, we're just going to take and dream about it and try to do our best to make it a reality. But moving along, they got right here, they got an MSI. If you're into B450, they got this MSI Performance Gaming Plus Max, $99. Supports second and third gen AM4 M.2 built on. So, you know, and then you got your DDR3, your older platform. You got a B550M right here for $103. You know, you got the MSI Mag 550 Tomahawk. That's a good one too. For $170, it was $190, so you save a little bit there. You know, and so on. You can save on some decent motherboards. Okay, they do have decent motherboards. You know, if depends on what platform you want to be on. You know, I mean, they got the, I don't believe so much in the 520s. Okay, don't get me wrong, they do have the 520s, but I'm not going to elaborate on them because I don't like the platform as much. I like to stay between B550, X570, you know, when it comes to that. Or the 510, you know, even though the H510, I really, you know, really wouldn't want to mess with it. But they do have this, the B550 MA/CSM AM4. So it's PCIe 4.0. It does registered and unregistered memory. Let's look at the platform a little bit. Okay, this might be a platform I want to pick up. Okay, let's see, it does second and third gen. The speeds are not bad, which it will support Windows 11 as well as Windows 10. And that's not a bad platform. 128 gigs of RAM, maximum support, and it'll support up all the way to the 4400 megahertz right here. But do remind you, my B450 motherboard that I got in this computer does the same thing. The only difference between this board and that board that I got in my computer is the fact of this right here is PCIe 4.0, right? In my computer, it's PCIe 3.0. So there's a different support. So if I were to get this motherboard right here, this would be only thing that upgrades me from PCIe 3.0 to PCIe 4.0. So that's the only difference with this motherboard right here between the B450 and the B550. It has everything else. Looking at it, yep, mine's got the 1 gigabyte of LAN. It's got the USB 3.2 Gen 2s or 3.2 Gen 2 Type Cs. It's got Type A port in the front. Yeah, mine's got it too. USB 3.2 Gen 1 connector. Mine does too. HDMI 2.1, D sub, and DVI. Mine does too. Well, mine, no. Scratch that and roll it back. Mine has, what do you call it? It has a monitor port other than a DVI port. This one does have a DVI port, so that's good. It's got D sub, that's good too. And it's got HDMI 2.1. So that means if I were to take an upgrade from my B450 to this B550, I can take my Ryzen 5 5600G and plug it into this board with no problems. But let's see what else it has. Ryzen 5000 series CPU. Downloaded the latest BIOS, which that's not a big deal. At least I can boot up with my processor to this motherboard. So, moving along. I think we looked enough on Amazon. So let's go over to Newegg. We're going to look at Newegg and see what's going on. Huh, that's cool. But that's like $104. When it comes to computer cases, I'd rather try to keep it on the low budget, and create one myself. If I get like a $50 case and I add $30 with fans, I get an $80 case. So, and the case, the retail value of that case could bump it up to at least $140, depending on how many fans you have. My computer case, I spent $49.99. I got 6 fans for $35.99. So I have a case that has free airflow, and I have no problems with it. It pushes air like a monster. And I'm talking, I'm running the computer within a matter of 2 feet. My mic is within 2 feet of the computer. Not even 2 feet. And you can't even hear the fans. I have all 6 fans, and then I have the one that's on the processor. And believe it or not, right now, I have the glass door off of the case. Just to prove that point, you can't even hear the computer. That's how quiet those fans are. I'm just saying, you can't beat it with the stick. Okay, look at this. They got a Z690i for 139 bucks. Interesting. Let's see what this is about. It's a 1700. This is Intel. So for 139 bucks for an Intel, but you know, it kind of looks promising. Okay, this looks promising. Looks like it's got a lot of let's blow it up so this way y'all can see it. I mean, it doesn't look bad, does it? Y'all tell me in the comment below if this looks bad. It's got a display port, it's got HDMI, it's got USB 2.0, it's got Type C, it's got a 2.5 gigahertz LAN port, it's got Q Flash, and it's got Wi-Fi. And it's got a mic and a line out. It might be a combo mic. So I'll tell you what. And it's got the brackets for the AIO coolers. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. That's got some good stuff on there. It's got, look at its VRM design. It's 10 plus 1 plus 2 direct digital. Solid pin power connectors. Yeah. Supports 12th gen Intel. DDR4. Look at that. That's a, you know, and that's a compact board too. You know, that's really compact. I like the way that looks, and it's got some RGB on it too. Hell, that looks like a good one. Wow. I think I might be sold on this one for $139.99, 140 bucks. Then it would be going the other way. But, you know, it depends on if you want to run 12th gen, you know, Intel. So, looks like that Intel might be swinging in a different direction to where it might be, Intel might be more conservative on their motherboards than AMD. So, that seems interesting. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks like they're, you know, a little bit conservative. But right here's the motherboard I got. And you can see it covers the VRM on this side. You know, but not on that side. Like I told you, there's always room to make your own VRMs. But it does support the 5000 series. And it supports up to a lot of processors that are on the DDR4 side, the AM4 side. So it does support a lot. Not a lot of people think they're great, but I'll tell you what, Asus made a great one. And I've been using it for about 4 months now. We're up to the 4-month mark. They got the 320, they got a 590, a Z590. You know, you go from the 12 to the 1700. You know, they got 1151 and so on. They got a 610 DDR4. You guys are getting the picture. You can see Intel is making better strides on their DDR4 motherboards than AMD is. You know, I mean, here's one B450 Aorus for 139 bucks. Then you got your Intel right here, your 1200 series Intel, LGA 1200, ASRock Z590 for $109. You can see the price difference. But coming over here to this one kind of looks like mine, but it's $99. But I still can't get over the fact they charge you for shipping. That, really? Why would you charge for shipping? Get real. When you want to sell a product, include the shipping into the price of the product, and then try to sell the product with free shipping. That's common sense. That's better business than to do bad business by saying, "Oh my God, you got to pay for shipping." Yeah, you're gonna charge $4 for shipping. You know how many conservative people would tell you to take your product to somebody else, let them buy it, and see if they like it? That's how you lose money. That to me, that's what pushes me away from the fact of buying somebody's product, is when you say you have to pay the shipping, you have to pay for the product. Why don't I just drive to your house and go get it and then save myself the shipping? That's basically what would happen. This is a good price for a Steel Legends AM4 motherboard. If you guys are into the Steel Legends, $155. That's not bad too. So they got the 1155. For $60, the HM61. I bet you any money that would be good to replace it in my my Dell Optiplex 790. This board right here, because I have the processor right here. Sorry, I have the processor. I have an i5 2400 processor, but I use it just as much as I do my brand new one here. So the reason why I still use that, well, that's because it runs just as well as this one I got here. So I use one Intel and I use one AMD. So just to let you know, Intel, I do use your products too. And to prove it, hopefully I can do this right. Let me slide you all over this real quick. I'm going to show you. Same processor I use in that Optiplex. Same processor right here. Intel, I do use your processors just as well as AMD. Okay? So I do use your product. And I do have one that's without pins on the back, as you can see. And this is Gen 3. i5 2400. So that's a backup to that other PC. That's the reason why I haven't switched. Because believe it or not, that PC hasn't given me a lick of problems for 3 years. I've ran that thing nonstop for 3 years. It still works just as good. And if I improve on it, the only thing I'm going to improve on it is the graphics card. That's the only thing I'm going to improve on that PC. Well, I'm wrong about that. I might increase the RAM. Believe it or not, that thing runs at 8 gigs of RAM and it still doesn't hesitate. 8 gigs of RAM. And it still runs just as good as having 16 gigs. But it's running single channel, 4 slots. So I'm going to change it to running dual slot, dual band, 16 gigabytes. It will handle up to 16 gigabytes. So, and it runs Windows 10 just perfectly, if y'all are wondering it. and it has MSI Afterburner in there, you know, and it has all the stuff that my main PC right here has. Just to let you know that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try to wrap this up because we don't want to make this a 40-minute video. Okay, really quick, this is the caveat to this. We're going to go to eBay. Now, these are eBay prices. Okay, these are used prices. Okay, and to me, I think anything they sell on eBay is used, not brand new. Even if the box comes with a wrapper on it, that's the only way I'm going to say it's brand new. If the box doesn't come with the wrapper on it, it's used. Period, said, put. If you once you unwrap that box, and I'm going to tell everybody that sells on eBay, once you unwrap that box and you try to sell it on eBay, it's used. It's not brand new. Even if you don't use it and it's still in its wrapper inside the box, does not matter. You take that cellophane wrapper around that box off, it's used. So get it straight and don't misrepresent yourself. You know, because, you know, if you guys want a used motherboard, go to eBay. If you want a new motherboard, you go to Amazon, Newegg, Micro Center, you know. Go to some of those, or, you know, Best Buy, you know. Even though that I, you know, in the beginning, long time ago, when Best Buy first opened, this will tell you how old I am. When Best Buy first opened down in the state of Florida, they were more computer than anything. It's like half to 3/4 of the store was nothing but computers. And now when you go into Best Buy, it's more of a furniture store than it is a computer store. They sell more furniture, they sell more car audio, you know, and software programs, but that doesn't make them a complete computer store. Not like Micro Center. Micro Center is a complete computer store. You know, if you find furniture in Micro Center, then you go sit down on it. You go sit down on that furniture. Okay, so this just gives you an idea about the difference between new and used if you're buying on eBay. I'm not going to go through it, the prices or anything. We're going to leave off with Micro Center. Okay, Micro Center's pricing, you know, I'm going to give you a shot of some B550s, 590s, 650s. Look at the B650 compared to the B550. See the difference? Look at the price. Same price. So, you know, at Micro Center the prices might be coming down, but, you know, in Amazon and Newegg, I kind of doubt it. So, if you're looking to get the next platform series, I don't know. That one, it's the B650 Plus Prime. It's $199. You see what kind of new processor you can plug into it. The 7600, 7700. See, this is the motherboards reviewers should be testing off, because it's a cheap motherboard, and that's what they should be testing off of. You know, entry-level motherboards, not high-end motherboards. You want to test high-end motherboards, you can do that, but start looking at the low-end motherboards. That's what I'm looking at, the other side. You know, nobody's Rockefeller. We all don't have that kind of cash in our pockets. So let's look at the low side first. So just moving along, they got one here, B560, 149. It's not a bad deal. 154 ASRock X570. That's not a bad deal neither. That is right there. That's not a bad deal neither. That's a good deal. You know, I mean, Micro Center's got some great deals. Make sure you check them out. Go to microcenter.com. You can look them up. They're not a sponsor of of our channel yet, but maybe they want to be someday. Who knows? Hopefully they will be. They're more than welcome to get a hold of me. They know how to do that. But just moving on, they got the B660 Intel 1700. Look at that. 120 bucks right here. Look at this. Look at this motherboard. Only difference is you ain't got so much stuff covering those VRMs. But like I told you, you can build your own heat sink for the VRMs. Do remember that. Now, if you want to dissipate heat more off of the chip, you're best off to run heat sinks individually on individual chips. Running the heat sink all together on one, that's how they kill. That's how you kill a chip. Is basically when the heat sink is attached to all the chips all at one time, you'll end up killing a chip because one will heat more than the other. Boom. You just sent that one that was weak up in flames. So I know a lot of people don't think about that, but that's how you can kill a chip, like memory chip and stuff like that. That's how you can kill chips, because they have to have a different sense of cooling, because not every chip is built the same. You can make it by the same die, same everything, but the way the chip operates has different impedances. So unless you can match it precisely impedance to impedance, then you're actually throwing heat into one of those chips, killing it, and boom. So think about that. But anyway, we're going to switch it back over to me. My conclusion really quick, so that way I don't make it any longer than it is. When you're buying a motherboard, look at all the details of the motherboard. Get the name of the motherboard, look up the specs, weigh it out, what's going to give you the best that you want. Take the high-end motherboard, get the specs of that, and take your low-end motherboard and get the specs of that. And weigh the difference between the two. Okay, which one is going to give you the better bang for your buck? That's how you do it. And that's how I do it. That's the reason why I got this B450 motherboard, was because I got the best bang for my buck. And it's definitely made its money back 3 times over. But anyway, if you like my videos, make sure you subscribe. If this is your new time here, do subscribe. And if you like the videos, make sure you put a like on them. We still need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And I do welcome all that have subscribed to the channel. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds, and welcome to the family. But we're going to jump out of here until the next time and the next video. This is JJ, your boy. We will see you on the next one.